when Taylor was knocked prone and surrounded, I was like, is this the same way Ez died last time?
Oh yeah, exactly. And
Because
for
she was
another
knocked
viewpoint.
prone and
Yeah.
couldn't move
All
with the
right.
needle blights.
So we're live.
Right.
It's VODCAST time. It's Friday night. It's basically 7 p.m. You know, we got stuff we want to do tonight. We're gonna get this out of the way, right? We gotta get this out of the way.
Yep.
But I've been looking forward to talking about this since we started playing Baldur's Gate 3. As I've said before, I didn't do any pre-gaming for Baldur's Gate 3, so all of my excitement of Baldur's Gate 3 is from basically launch. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, so I didn't play any of the. I am terrible. I didn't help make this game great. I just showed up and enjoyed it. Um, it's great. Now, Jacob over at XP Level 3, he actually dropped a video on this yesterday, and I gave that a listen. And because he has a lot of house rules that I enjoy. He's very like hero worship, but he definitely has that vibe of a guy that wishes the DM wasn't just there to get constantly cucked, as the kids are saying. So he would, I think, want a tougher game if he could have it, and raw D&D don't give that to you. So I think playing on Tactician, I've heard people say, the game's too easy, Tactician, we need Tactician Plus, we need Ultra Hard mode. I hear you. I think it's challenging enough. I find it enjoyable. I'm sure it could be harder in many ways, and I look forward to someday doing a run with a harder difficulty setting. The many homebrew rules that Larian added to the game lets them run encounters that obviously would never get past the Wizards of the Coast adventure writing teams. Let me just tell you, like the game we had Wednesday night, that would not pass the mustard, or whatever the hell they say. Jeremy Crawford would be like, sure, in my home game, we're not going to be able to publish this. We can't sell this product like this. But Baldur's Gate 3 was like, YOLO, baby. Now, before we go any further, Baldur's Gate is... Oh, let me change the music here, because we don't need
Like
a...
the lyrics.
We don't need a person singing in the background. Alright, hold on. We'll just switch to, hold on. We'll go with some, you know what? Oh man, I'm so thrown off my game by the singing in the background. We'll just switch to some wizard music here in the background. No, this is kind of singing too. Hold on, we're almost there. Alright, let's keep the singing to the minimum, guys. We're trying to do a podcast.
Is there a Baldur's Gate camp music?
I don't know. I can't get away from ladies singing in the background, so we'll just go with it. Alright, you know what? Wait. Here's 10 hours of Skyrim nighttime music. Alright, we should be good now. If anybody's singing at night in Skyrim, you should be worried. Alright, so, this is a video game. In a video game, you have save points. Yes, they have an Iron mode or Iron Man mode, hardcore mode. If you die, you're dead forever. Yes, they have that. Mix and match your difficulty settings as desired. Set your own limitations on yourself. No baromancy, no karmic dice, blah, blah, blah. Yes, yeah. I get it. But at its core, it is still a video game. So it has safety net of, oh, you TPK'd because I sent 5,000 hit points worth of monsters at you? Just reload.
Well,
just reload your game, I guess. Just reload your game.
It's not like you wasted, half a year getting here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, did you play Iron Man? That's unfortunate. But listen, it's over now, so just reload your thing or start over. I don't care. I'm a video game. It's not my problem. Yeah, in a D&D game in real life, right? Real life D&D game with real people and all that. Like, the DM is putting a ton of work into making this story and making it happen. It would be like a TV show getting canceled because there's a chance everyone on the TV show could die, and then that's it. That's the end of the show. Pack up production. We're all done. It's a lot different, right? People have been giving up 3 or 4 hours a week every week for the last year, and then you're like, well, I wanted to try something different tonight. Whoops, I guess you're all dead. So, like, they have that safety net built in. They can get away with a lot more than we can in a TTRPG game. So we have to look at all of these weird Baldur's Gate 3 Larian rules under the lens of it is a video game and they have a safety net kind of built into it of save points. Also, they have a smaller, hear me out here, they have a smaller ecosystem to balance their homebrew against. That's very important. There are the core classes, sure. There are roughly 3-ish subclasses for each class. Some of them have more, like Cleric and Wizard. But for the most part, everybody's got 3. Those 3, even amongst those 3, they are not well balanced. Some of them are obviously much better than others. But they know all of the factors of play. They have certain spells, and that's it. They don't have other spells. There were spells they didn't want to include. They didn't include them, right? Now, admittedly, and listen to this craziness, when you run your D&D game, you can do the same thing. You could say, I'm only allowing these subclasses, and I'm only allowing these spells. Do you still want to play D&D with me? And chances are, people are going to say yes, because there's a shortage of Dungeon Masters. So you could probably say, this is all I'm comfortable running, and that's what I'm going to do, and people would agree with you. Now, because of these two things, one, their limited and controlled ecosystem that they've created for themselves, and the fact that they're a video game, we have to look at the rules that they made up, their homebrew rules, through those lenses. We can't look at it like, oh, this is a really fun homebrew document for running Dungeons & Dragons, because it's not the same. It's not the same at all, right? Now, we have the benefit of incredible VTT tools that can help us with automation, and that puts us a little bit closer to video gaminess in some of these aspects. I think that some of the rules that they made up just wouldn't work well on a table with miniatures and stuff like that. But I think we could make a lot of these things work in a VTT setting with relative ease, especially with the automation tools, scripts, things like that. So, I threw this document together earlier today. I had people on the server. I said, check it out, make some comments, add some thoughts. I don't know if you had time to look at it today while you were at work. Kind of throw some stuff in there.
I skimmed through it, but I wasn't able to add any comments or anything like that.
So what I did to start this document is I went over to Reddit and I found the thread that keeps getting posted. Anybody know where all the house rules are for BG3? And I went and I pasted them all down at the bottom. And then as I was dealing with them, I moved them up to different areas and expanded them out. There are still things down here that I didn't get to because there's a lot of house rules. And we only have an hour VODCAST, so we're just going to talk about a few of the things.
Mm-hmm.
So, one thing I did see, Tasha's laughter, all hits are critical hits. I'm sleeping on that shit. I'm going to have to respec next time.
That's true?
If it's true, I'm respecing. Get ready for 45 minutes of chamomile respecing.
Well, yeah, because they make it so that if you're like sleeping or incapacitated like that, it's a critical hit when you get hit. So I think they do the same thing for Tasha's.
Bananas.
That incapacitated.
I mean, same thing with paralyzed, so I don't know why it wouldn't be any different. Yeah. Tasha's, yeah. So anyways, back up here. What could work in a 5e game to add more fun without breaking everything? So right off the bat, I want to address height because we've already had a podcast about height, verticality. We did that last week. This is where I came to rest on verticality. Very simple, not a lot of incentive for verticality, but enough incentive that you might want to do it. So, +1 to AC if you have the high ground being defined as you are 5 feet or more above the opponent. So if you're 5 feet or more higher than your opponent, you get +1 to your AC. This represents the cover that we talked about of like trying to get up over the ledge to hit them. And that's it. Just a flat +1. Move on with your day. A lot of people don't like huge armor class bonuses. A lot of people hate untyped armor class bonuses. This being an untyped armor class bonus, it's pretty strong, even at +1. But it does give you a reason to have the high ground Anakin, right? But I would never give any more than that for having the high ground. You might even say give a +1 cover bonus, and then it won't stack if they get better cover bonus from something else. So that could work. The +1 to attack rolls if you have the high ground. Honestly, so many things give you attack rolls. 11 years into 5th edition D&D, who fucking cares if you get another +1? We got dudes at level 6 getting a +17 to their attack rolls. Is another +1 really going to matter that much? Probably not. So, less important than armor class is having a bonus to hit. I don't think a +1 to hit is a big deal. If you have the high ground, I think it's kind of cool. You have a better aim at people, and if you're fighting with melee, you're more likely to hit them in the head. Yes, I know we don't have hit locations in 5e, but one would argue that a blow to the head is a more severe blow. So, attacking from higher ground, having a +1, you're more likely to hit them in the head. That's my take on that. Then I have this, +5 range to range spells, attacks, and abilities per 20 feet of height. Now, longbow users, LOL, right? Because 600 feet, bruh, I don't need to increase my range. One of the things that I was actually considering is having the range on bows and crossbows. Now, they're so big, it really wouldn't matter. That's what that's what I came to realize. They're so fucking big. The range is so large that it would never matter if you reduced it. But if you put those stupid weapons aside and you look at guns, thrown weapons, hand crossbows, you know, real stuff, not like bows and crossbows, they don't have very good range. And so getting an extra 5 feet, that's pretty good. Getting an extra 10 feet for being 40 feet up, that's pretty good. So, yeah, and I don't think it's too strong. Someone asked or commented, you know, Aarakocra, well, listen, if you're allowing flying races in your game, you've already opened a whole can of worms anyways. That, I mean, I'm not worried. I don't design around people allowing flying races into their game. Like,
I mean, if you're gonna have allow flying races, just don't put that piece of homebrew in your game.
Yeah, or I mean, accept the fact that you allowed flying races into your game and add to your encounters so that there are things that would challenge flying races. Add more imps. Add more mephits. Add
a spellcaster using Earthbind on something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Add more ranged attackers. Fucking gargoyles, they're everywhere. You know, like there's plenty of things that you could toss in there to make flying characters still challenged. All right.
Make the character have a lot of attacks, and there's a lot of cover on the ground.
Yeah. So that's my take on the height homebrew. I think the height homebrew could actually work. I don't really think it's that big a deal. What's your take on it?
I mean, yeah. Honestly, it's just when it comes up, it's going to be nice that it's there.
Yeah, fair.
And it's not going to come up that often because how often are you 20 feet? Have a 20-foot difference between height difference between your opponent in 5e, unless you're a flying creature.
Yeah, Lex, you have been here. My 2-year-old baby boy. So here's the thing: nobody wants to be 20 or more feet off the ground because nobody wants to get knocked off the platform that they're on. Nobody wants to fall that far.
Yeah.
If we're being honest. So the people that are daredevil enough to get this, I mean, they're gonna enjoy it, and everybody else is gonna be like, I ain't going 20 plus feet in the air. That's crazy. New actions, the help action. So this happened. This happened last night, right? The one horse was dying, and then the other horse's turn came up with initiative, and I was like, yeah. So Vanilla feels bad for Sterling, so Vanilla is gonna use the help action. So if anybody tries to stabilize Sterling, they'll have advantage. It doesn't matter that he doesn't have fucking trading. It's 5e. It's the power of anime and friendship, right?
Yep.
And it was like 5e raw. A fucking horse could help you perform a medicine check. That's how dumb. Yep. That's how dumb raw 5e is. That is how absolutely stupid raw 5e is. So Baldur's Gate 3 is like, what if the help action didn't give you advantage? You notice there's a lot of things in Baldur's Gate 3 that would give advantage that don't give advantage. There's no flanking. There's no help action to get advantage. When you're doing a skill check, all your friends can pat you on the ass for guidance. They could throw spells onto you from the background. They could cheer you on. But ain't nobody stand next to you and just give you advantage. There is no aid another, essentially. You have to use a spell or an ability that specifically does that. There is no just, I help out, I'm a big helper. I love that, especially since most 5e groups are huge because of Critical Role. Most 5e groups have like 6 people in it or more. It's disgusting. So the help action here in Baldur's Gate, it says, help an ally in need. Removes burning, downed, entangled, enwebbed, prone, and sleeping. That's pretty huge. Like, that's pretty huge. Imagine this. You are restrained, and your friend comes up, and they just use an action, and you're not restrained anymore. I kind of like that. I kind of like that.
You would get rid of the check for it? Like, if someone's...
Well, here's the thing. There is no restrained or grappled status in Baldur's Gate 3. It's been replaced by specific instances that duplicate the effects of being restrained.
Yeah.
Yeah, so essentially, if we were to translate from BG3Es into 5e, they're saying that you use the help action, you unrestrain somebody.
Yep.
They're also saying that every motherfucker on Earth has Spare the Dying. But the good Spare the Dying that gives them 1 hit point. Because you go over and you just like, you son of a bitch handshake a person and now they got 1 hit point. Now, we were already using bonus action, pick up somebody who is prone, which I think is fantastic. I love that. Teamwork. Prone is a terrible stats effect. There's already mechanics for the action to wake someone from sleeping. There's already... Here's the problem with burning. Every burning is handled differently in 5e. There is no uniform burning. Sometimes you're burning this way, and sometimes you're burning that way. Sometimes it's
like Alchemist Fire is different from just, being on fire.
Yeah, exactly. So I like the idea of every burning effect, everything that makes you catch on fire is burning, and now a person could just use an action to put you out. An action is a lot. If I'm a high-level fighter, I just gave up 3 fucking attacks to put out your fire,
And sometimes when it's those checks, like you're spending action, and then you do the check, and then you fail, and then that's
exactly.
An action.
So a lot of times people are like, I would come help you, but there's no way I could. And that feels kind of bad, right? Like, I would come help you, but I can't risk it. Because mathematically, there's just no way. Like, there's no way that I could come over there and help you. So I kind of like this. I think it's very strong. I think you'd have to be running some very hard games, or you would just need to know that your players are going to have an easier time if you switched help action to this. I like, honestly, this more than it just giving everybody fucking advantage on everything.
Well, the good thing about this, though, is that now you can actually, go ahead and do more restrained burning conditions because, it's just somebody. If somebody spends their action, they're going to get rid of it. There's no someone constantly rolling bad and that person just dealing with the, being knocked out of the fight because, no one can help them because everybody keeps rolling really bad, trying to save them from this thing. Now, like if you have a friend who's just rolling really bad and not saving their saves and this lingering thing is getting them, one character can be like, okay, there's nothing really for me to do on my turn right now, and we really need you to get you out of here. I don't want to, and also I'm tapped on spell slots. I'll just go over and help.
Yeah.
I'll spend the action and help you.
Yeah. How would you treat this with Mastermind Rogue?
I was going to ask the same question, yeah.
Don't they help at 30 feet? First of all, nobody really plays fucking Mastermind Rogue. Just throw it in the trash. You know what I'm saying? Like, get the fuck
Also, their help specifically says about the attack roll thing.
Yeah. I would change their ability. They would retain the grant advantage function, and we would just rename that ability. It wouldn't be helping. It would be like advising or some shit like that, or inspiring attack or something like that. You would just change it so that they continue to grant that advantage to attack rolls. It would be a separate thing entirely from this help action.
So another thing that would interact with this is the new Hobgoblin. They also have a bonus action, regular old help.
See,
and they also get extra bonuses on it too.
That's pretty dope, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope. Like, let them use this new help action as a bonus action. Oh man, that Hobgoblin pretty fucking clutch at that point.
Yeah. They already get extra benefits. Well, that bonus action help is also tied to the proficiency bonus. So it's tied to the proficiency bonus. So I think it'd be pretty good in here. Like they can, maybe 2 times the long rest, 3 times the long rest. They can bonus action help.
I certainly don't mind tying. I love tying things to proficiency bonus per long rest. I think that's a great metric because it doesn't punish multi-classing. I think that's a great metric.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of how they're set up. So I think it's pretty cool. Like hop on with this stuff.
What I don't know for sure is you can't help yourself, right? So if I'm on fire, I need someone else to put me out.
In Baldur's Gate, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
You cannot help yourself.
So
but you also can do other stuff to get yourself out. Like if I'm on fire, I can use the water.
Douse yourself in water, that kind of thing. Okay.
Yeah, there's other stuff you can use your action for to get rid of it.
So I like this a lot because since you can only do it on an ally, it forces even more teamwork interactions. Yep. I really like this a lot. Okay. So then we're talking about new bonus actions. Good God. So innovators that we are, you're already drinking potions as a bonus action. We're already there, baby. That's not a problem. Additional item interact as a bonus action. Oh, we do that. That's fine. I mentioned additional item interact as a bonus action because Baldur's Gate 3 gives you unlimited item interactions, and that is never going to happen. Like, that is never going to fucking happen in my games. I don't know about you, but after playing some Pathfinder, the game last night, I was like, what do you still have shit to do? Like, I was like, guys, you've already used 7 Pac-Mans. Like, you're done. Stop it. Stop it. They're like, well, I have 3 more attacks. It's like, oh my god. Okay, well, let me know when it's time to keep playing D&D, I guess. No, unlimited interactions. Get that shit out of here. Get that shit out of here. But the compromise would be using a bonus action for an additional item interaction. I'm okay with that. Not everybody has something to do with their bonus action. That's a great use of a bonus action. Turns out we're already doing that in our World Patch doc because we're so fucking cool. Shove as a bonus action, but no prone. What people who are real horny about this shove as a bonus action aren't realizing is you cannot shove prone in Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
So before you guys go giving everybody bonus action shove, remember that raw shove allows you to push prone. And prone is pretty fucking awesome. So before you go handing that out, that's why I would probably redefine it as a push action as a bonus action. So you perform a shove action that can only be used to force the creature away from you. I would not allow a shove prone. I would not allow a shove prone as a bonus action. I think that's too powerful.
So would you keep shove the way is I can shove as a bonus action to push somebody? I can shove an action to knock them prone.
Yes, that would actually be really good. Shove can be done as an action to push prone. Shove can be done as a bonus action to shove away. I like that a lot.
Yep.
That's good. Bonus action leveled spells can be used alongside action leveled spells. I like it. I actually like it. I don't like the idea of unlimited leveled spells. I'm going to put it out there. I think spellcasters are already stupidly strong. But how many times have you wanted to Misty Step and then actually use a good spell? Every time. Every fucking time. How many times have you wanted to use Healing Word and still do something besides
all the time.
Fucking Sacred Flame or Vicious Mockery? Every day of the fucking week, baby. So, like, I think that if a spell is a bonus action, then it can be cast alongside a leveled spell that is being used as an action. Now, hold on. Somebody's going to come rushing in. They're going to say, but Crash, what about the sorcerers? They might use Quicken Spell. Good! The sorcerers fucking suck. They need all the things. They need all the things. If that makes you want to play a sorcerer, then we did it right. If someone is actually going to play a fucking sorcerer because they could cast 2-leveled spells using Quicken Spell, then we did it right. I don't think I have a problem with. You know what I have a problem with? You know what I have a problem with? I have a problem with goddamn Counterspell. That's what I have a fucking problem with. That's the spell I have a fucking problem with. I don't have a problem with you casting 2-leveled spells in a turn. That's fine. I'd much rather have that than fucking Counterspell. Anyways. So how do you feel about bonus action spell allowing a leveled spell as a primary action?
I mean, honestly, I was gonna say I'm okay with just letting, not putting any restriction at all. Like if they have enough actions.
Yeah.
Because of something like if you have a fighter and they action surge and then
Yeah, I allow that. I allow action surge to be used on any fucking action already. But I know that's not raw. I know that's not raw in some people's opinion. But yeah.
Yeah, like for me, I'm okay with if you want to use if you have the economy to cast 2 spells, go ahead and do it.
Yeah, I'm down, man. I'm down with it. Bonus action offhand attack can be made without using your attack action. I have this multiple times because many people pointed it out. And this used to be a house rule that I used before I started running paid games, actually.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
who fucking cares? You don't get your ability modifier to it. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Yeah, and if you do, it's because you invested in a feat, and so you're rewarded for investing in that feat.
Exactly.
How would you feel? Because this also comes into account the other things. Like there's like a lot of people when this comes up, people start talking about the Shieldmaster shove. Mm-hmm. I mean, with shove being a bonus action now, I guess that doesn't really matter anymore. Yeah, you have that, but I mean that was also knocking prone too.
Well, if Shieldmaster allows the full deal, then it should be grandfathered in to allow the full deal.
So that one was like the whole like you have to attack first before you can do it.
Right. Yeah. I feel like that should still be as written, like the Shieldmaster thing. Like I don't see how these changes would really impact that. You know what I'm saying? Because like.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only wording you would need is that it allows a full shove. So a shove that can knock prone or push, essentially. I don't have a problem with I don't have a problem with somebody having a weapon in their quote unquote offhand and using their bonus action for that if they need their primary. Here's the problem though, right? Baldur's Gate 3 allows infinite item interactions. But Dungeons and Dragons requires hands for things. No one likes to talk about this because it's ableist. Pathfinder 2, that's their whole identity, is having fucking hands. I don't understand what else you're gonna do with your main action if your main hand action besides attack, because in order to qualify, because there's no handedness in 5e, in order to qualify as having an offhand weapon, you would have to designate a handedness of your character.
How would you be if someone is dual wielding? They attack with their offhand as a bonus action. Interact, put their main hand away. Sheath their main hand and then do something.
That works for me. There you go. That explains the scenario for me. Thank you. All right. So those are the new bonus actions.
One more thing about this too is that in the patch documents we do have the whole like, hey, I'm gonna 2-weapon fighting on one creature. I'm just gonna attack once with my main hand and once with my offhand and not cost a bonus action. So this is in our case in the homebrew in the world patch document. This is for when I'm deciding to attack a separate creature, right? Or I want to do that whole like attack with my offhand and then put my main hand weapon away and then do something. That's where this will come up. Because you know how we already have the two weapon fighting adjustment.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. See, that does kind of conflict with our two weapon fighting adjustment then, right? A little bit, or no?
Well, not really. I guess it gets in a way they have a lot of flexibility with two-handed weapon because they can choose. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
I only spend my action. I attack this one creature with both my weapons,
Yeah.
and then or I just decide, hey, I want a bonus action attack this creature first,
Mm.
and then use my action to attack another creature.
Mm.
Like they could choose. I guess the idea is that I guess this wouldn't conflict. Now that I talked myself through it, I don't think it would conflict. I think it just gives them more options.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. In a way, it just builds off of what we've already done in the World Patch doc for 2-weapon fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. All right, so reactions. This is something that we talked about in a couple of my games this week. And I think we talked about this a lot Sunday night, right? Any spell cast as a reaction breaks concentration. Now, this isn't a Baldur's Gate 3 thing, but this is an idea that I've been thinking about because of Baldur's Gate 3 allowing certain spells to be cast as reactions that we're not used to them being reactions. And some of that is maybe inspired by D and Dun, or maybe D and Dun was inspired by Baldur's Gate doing this, but I like the idea of certain spells, especially the shitty cantrips and the shittier spells. I love the idea that they have something called flexible casting. So basically, they can also be cast as a reaction. But if you cast it as a reaction, then you lose concentration on whatever you are focusing on. So, spells that might be candidates for this: Blade Ward, Friends, Guidance, Message, Prestidigitation, Resistance, Thaumaturgy, True Strike. Now, people pointed out in chat many of the pitfalls of this. So, Blade Ward, for example, Blade Ward Raw gives you resistance to slashing, piercing, bludgeoning damage. So, essentially, if you have this cantrip and you're willing to just never have a reaction, you are as good as a barbarian raging all the time. So I could see some class identity like issues there, right? Where they kind of feel like, hey, that ain't right. I don't feel good about that. So Matthew Simpson, what a dignified and adult name this is. So Matthew Simpson says, he says, in my opinion, Blade Ward should reduce damage. You channel magical defenses to the creature who was just attacked. That creature can roll a d4 and reduce the incoming non-magical bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage by that amount. The d4 keeps in line with other d4 cantrips, guidance, resistance, and true strike. I like that, but what if we scaled it like cantrips scale? So what if it's
an extra d4
yeah.
once you get to a certain level?
Yeah. What if it was a d4 scaling reduction? Because I agree, especially after playing Pathfinder and going back to the 4th edition D&D resistance value. I think that that's a better system. I think it's stupid to just take double damage from your vulnerable thing, and I think it's extra stupid to take half damage just because you have resistance. I think that's lazy math, and I think it's overpowered. I like the idea of reduction more than halving. So I think that's really, really good. So, yeah, that'd be a good one. The D4 cantrips have all their range increased to 30 feet, which are usable as reactions to boost failed rolls. Yeah, I think that's a really good idea, too. I think there's a lot of potential here to, quote-unquote, fix these. What if True Strike had a scaling D4 that it gave you for attacks? Like, your buddy misses an attack, and you cast True Strike as a reaction, and now he has 1d4, 2d4, 3d4 added to that attack roll.
So when when guidance came up and resistance came up in 1D&D, I had mentioned this about True Strike, like make those 3 cantrips be the cantrips of support.
Yep.
You have guidance for attack for ability checks, you have resistance for saving throws, you have True Strike for attack rolls.
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Also, think about this. They all scale. They're all castable at reaction. They're all casted at 30-foot range. You might come at me and say, what about bards? Now you're shitting all over bards because what about their bardic inspiration? Well, listen to me. I play a lot of bards. We don't want to use our bardic inspiration on you guys. We want to use it on our own shit, okay? If you're a sword bard, you don't want to give anybody a fucking inspiration die. If you're a sword bard, you want to use it on yourself. If you're a whisper bard, you want to use it to cause psychic damage to people. If you're a lore bard, you want to use it to use cutting words on the bad guy. You do not want to use it on your friends. That's not what we really want from life. So, what about the bards? Get this crazy shit. The bards will take these cantrips. What? They'll take these cantrips and they'll use them to support you, and then they'll also have their bardics to do stuff with. Yeah, like, it in no way, in my opinion, in no way impedes on the bard's identity as support at all. In fact, it gives more people an opportunity to support, which is kind of the point of a cooperative game, is to help each other out. So, like, I think we could make all of these cantrips suddenly very good cantrips. Very good cantrips. In that, yeah, I think it could be really good. Now, one thing that I'm still confused about is they told me, and we're playing on Tactician mode, they told me that Friends sometimes backfires. Remy swears that this has happened to him. Chamomile has cast Friends on everybody for the last 80 hours, and no one has gotten upset with her about it. So, like, I don't know what the mechanics are under the hood for BG3 Friends, but I know that the mechanics in Raw 5e basically say Friends sucks. You have to put clown makeup on, and then after they're done being friended, they hate you. So it kind of feels like a bad spell. So my thing is... The
enchantment spell in Faerun, I mean, that's it.
Yeah, so what about... Well, yeah, it is illegal in Faerun to use Friends. Yeah, it is actually illegal in the Sea of Waterdeep. But what if Friends... if you fail while under the effect of Friends, then they know that you used it, and they go down one, whatever the friendship levels are. Do you know what I'm saying? They got the different friendship levels. Yeah, what if that is the caveat for Friends? Not they instantly hate you afterwards, but if you cast it on a person, on yourself, and then you fail a charisma check while under the effects of Friends, everybody doesn't like that. Like, they know what you did, and they don't like that.
Friends still gives you the advantage?
Yeah. Friends gives you advantage, like it's supposed to, but there's a chance that if you fail while under the effects of Friends, there are consequences for it.
Yeah.
I kind of like that. I feel like Friends would become a cantrip that people would want to use more often. These other guys, Prestidigitation and Thaumaturgy, they were already great. Message was already great, but I think giving those the ability to be cast as a reaction, what DM out there actually pays attention to the action economy of the message spell? Raise your hand. Oh, there's no hands being raised. That's right. Nobody fucking polices the message spell.
You know, it'd be really cool with Thaumaturgy. Bad guys trying to run away and get through a door. Reaction.
Reaction Thaumaturgy, close the door, buddy. Hell yeah. I mean, actually, never mind. I mean, in 5e that wouldn't matter. He'll just item interact, open it. But still, you can be cool and do that. Yeah, but it's neat. It's neat, right? So I think that this deserves more work, but I think that reaction spells could do it. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be pissed if I try to put any spell cast as reaction breaks concentration on spells currently being used. I know there's a lot of butthurt people out there about concentration as a mechanic in general. I like concentration. When I play D&D, I frequently play support casters. I have to concentrate on things. I have to make tough decisions about what I'm going to concentrate on. It's a part of the game. I don't mind it being in there. It is what it is. Now, suggestions were made on our Discord today that certain spells might have a tag called easy concentration or light concentration. Basically, they utilize your concentration slot, but they cannot be broken. And that sounds kind of cool. Another thing about spells that I didn't have on this list that should probably be discussed is spells that last until your next long rest, I think that that's a really smart move. I think certain spells should last until your next long rest. I think that's pretty cool.
I mean, long strider like that. I mean, you would actually have people prep it.
Yeah, I would still be a dick and not let you use long strider as a ritual, but I would give
No, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But, like,
I would let
having
you,
it like if I'm high level, I feel like using all 4 of my first levels, because I'm not really gonna be using anything for my first level because I don't have shield or anything like that.
Yeah.
And use them all on long strider on my martial heavy friends. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I think that some spells do deserve a until long rest duration, especially
Like
in my games where you can only long rest in a sanctuary. Holy shit! You know what I'm saying? Like that's a good investment right there. That's a good investment. All right.
Like if that was a mythic, I would definitely cast that on Ornn and Andronikos.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think it's going to be once we get this world patch document updated for sure. World patch specific, we already give all rogues fast hands. People asked me, does that mean that Rogue Thief will now get a second bonus action? And I say, fuck yeah. Let's see what happens. I think that'd be really fun. I already give Rogue Thief a bonus feat when they would normally get fast hands. I'd much rather they just have a second bonus action than a feat, because at least we know that they're getting it. It's a better identity than just getting another feat. So I think that Rogue Thief in our World Patch document should get a second bonus action. Why not? Let's see what happens.
Yeah, see what happens.
Yeah.
You'll get more thieves.
All right, so potions. I mentioned this to my kid who hasn't played Baldur's Gate 3 yet. We're going to play it together tomorrow. I'm very excited. I said, in Baldur's Gate, you could throw potions. And they were like, that's awesome. They haven't even seen it in action. They're just like, that's awesome. So, I think we already use potion toxicity. So there's already a balance in play for potion, quote-unquote, abuse, right? So, why not? Like, throw some fucking potions. Now, here's the thing. I want to make this not key off of strength and I'm good at throwing. I want it to go off of sleight of hand.
So keep in mind, and this, I don't know, raw, anytime you do a ranged attack, whether it's throwing or something like that, if it doesn't have the thrown property, you have to use dexterity.
Right.
Use strength when it has the thrown property, because that's the finesse of range attacks.
Yeah.
So this thing, by raw, would have to use dex if you're trying to throw this thing.
Yeah. So, but I want to reward sleight of hand a bit more. I feel like sleight of hand doesn't get a lot of love, right? Because most people don't want to ruin the night by pickpocketing somebody and getting arrested, right? Like most people, only Larionis does that to people. No one else in the world except Larionis does that to people, right? Everyone else is a good person that loves their D&D group and would never want to ruin everyone's night and cost the party an entire airship by picking people's pockets, right? Only Larionis would do that. So, nobody takes sleight of hand, right? I was so amazed. I was so amazed that Marcus Noble took expertise in sleight of hand on his gunslinger. His rogue Django in A Skull and Shackles. That I started just making up reasons for him to use sleight of hand because I didn't know what else to do. I was like, I want this man to be able to use sleight of hand. So, first of all, oh man, only 15 minutes left. There's so much I want to talk about. All right, but I think that sleight of hand should be the skill for throwing potions. We need to kind of like fine tune it a little bit, but like I like it. Now Darby suggested that all potions do splash. I feel like that is rewarding failure. If you don't manage to hit your target, I don't know if like letting it splash should work, because if you're only needing 1 point of fire damage to light that oil on fire and you get the splash, then I mean, like maybe splash happens if you miss within 5. You know what I'm saying? But like I feel like guaranteed splash every time like they do in Pathfinder 2, that doesn't sit well with me. I hate that. I hate that in Pathfinder 2 that I could throw something and I'm guaranteed to get damage. I don't know. It feels inconsistent with a system that wants to punish you for rolling badly.
So that's kind of almost all like the way Alchemist works from Baldur's, the way Alchemist works in Pathfinder. All of it is like if you miss, there's an AOE, but I know in Baldurs they gave it a save. Like you have a save.
Everyone gets a save against the splash. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's definitely an
also
area.
kinda,
Yeah.
It also like makes things a lot longer. Like I already missed. Now we got to do the save, and then that kind of drags out that whole turn. Which I mean, once you get used to it, it's not that bad. But if that's a way, if you really want to have splash, maybe that's the way to do it.
Mm-hmm. All right, so elixirs. I love the idea of an elixir lasting until long rest. We talked about this last night in Curse of Strahd. I love the idea of an elixir lasting until the end of long rest, especially in my games where you can't rest unless you're at a sanctuary. Only benefit from one elixir per long rest, and as Remy kind of pointed out, what about hot swapping elixirs? I feel like once you drink your elixir, that's your elixir until you long rest. Like your body can't switch elixirs.
Would you allow the ability to switch, but it's the same thing as potion toxicity? Like you have to roll on potion toxicity if you switch.
Maybe.
And you only can switch if you're able to, if you're not at your limit. Maybe.
I feel like that's adding a lot of subsystems. I just kind of feel like make a smart choice about what elixir you want for the day, and then for the long rest.
Well, the thing is though, it's not a day. It's not a day in our games. It's like it could be like a couple days.
I know, but like, I feel like you got to make your choice and live with it. But maybe we could look into it. I don't know. But I do like the idea that the elixirs last an entire like durations of like an hour. Then you get into the whole like, do we have time before the fight starts to drink 50 potions and cast all our spells on ourselves and do all the other kind of shit? But this is one less thing that they have to pregame before a fight, right?
Maybe not until long rest. Maybe it's until you sleep for the day.
Until you sleep. Okay, that could work.
Yeah. That way, that way you go to camp, you sleep for that day, it's gone. You lose the effect. You got to read the next one.
Yeah. So then we've got nerfs. The 2-round duration nerf. 2 rounds of sleep, 2 rounds of banish, 2 rounds of hypnotic pattern. I love it, baby. I fucking love it.
2 rounds of haste.
2 rounds of haste with a question mark. I will not be swayed to change haste in my games to give you a full-ass action. You could go pound sand somewhere else. It ain't gonna fucking happen in my game. I am open to a lot of this shit, but I am not. As soon as I have, when I play my solo playthrough of this game, when we're done with our co-op and I don't have to worry about fucking things up by having mods, one of the first mods I'm gonna get is taking away haste, giving you an extra full-ass action. It's just gonna give you the limited menu of actions to choose from. I don't like it. I know that in Pathfinder 2, haste gives you a whole nother Pac-Man, but I'm gonna be honest, a Pac-Man don't mean shit to me because the 3-action economy is a lie. You can barely do anything in your turn in Pathfinder 2, and the Pathfinder kids who are drinking the Kool-Aid that think the 3-action economy gives you a lot of stuff are liars. You could do a lot of things in 5th edition compared to a turn in Pathfinder. That's just the fucking facts. I don't think you need another full-ass action. That's my take. How do you feel about, would you want haste granting a full action in your games?
Depending on the game, I probably wouldn't mind.
Really? Damn.
Yeah, depending on the game.
That's wild, man. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why it bothers me so much. Because, as someone pointed out, I believe it was Carsophona pointed out, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Shit goes both ways. You roll up on the bad guys, and their first bonus action is to down a potion of haste. You're gonna be like, damn, kind of wish they weren't getting a full action off of that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
But it really depends on the game. If we're playing the superhero game, I wouldn't mind.
I don't know. Maybe if it had a 2-round duration and it still had the side effect after 2 rounds, I would allow the extra action.
So I would not do the potion of haste, the one that has no concentration. That would not be 10 rounds. No.
Yeah. No.
Of course, no.
That would also be 2 rounds. I would be willing.
Yeah, that would be 2 rounds. But I'm okay with the spell. If concentration still works the same way, and it does, I would be okay with the spell. Still being 10 rounds. if you're concentrated on long enough, because there's a lot of ways to get rid of concentration on somebody, on the enemy and on the player.
Yeah.
Like I lose concentration all the time on Maya. So.
Oh yeah. You gotta take that resiliency constitution. Gotta take that warcaster. It sucks, but I mean, if you're into concentration spells, it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. So I have this bonus PF2 Inspired Editions, but we don't need to talk about that. I mean, I do like the idea that standing up from prone would trigger opportunity attacks. Hear me out, baby.
I mean, that's very dangerous in 5e because so much stuff knocks you prone.
But hear me out. Hear me out. We talk all the time about the inequity of marshals. Marshals they need equity. Equity for marshals.
That's gonna mess up marshals more often because the marshals are the ones that are getting knocked prone most of the time.
Yeah, but the marshals are the only ones that are going to be getting to pop off these attacks. You know what I'm saying?
They're not. I don't think a marshal's gonna. Well, yeah, they'll be the ones getting those attacks. But who's gonna be the one spending the action to knock the enemy prone?
Maybe.
The marshal, and then now they're not attacking.
That's
so they're
true.
gonna give up their 4 attacks. They're gonna give up their 3 attacks.
Yeah, because then they
knock them prone and get 1 opportunity attack.
Then the casters are just gonna teleport out of it anyways. So yeah, you're right. I'll delete it. Okay. Improved counter charm. This is not from Baldur's Gate 3, but I'm pissed off because they fixed everything about 5e except counter charm. Why didn't they fix counter charm? Can nobody fix counter charm? So I fucking fixed it myself. Here's what my counter charm does. As an action, you can expend a bardic inspiration to remove a charm or frightened effect from a creature. Period. The end. That's it. You did it. You did it. You didn't roll a caster check. You didn't roll any fucking dice. You went up and you said, hey man, stop doing that. And they stopped. That's pretty fucking good. Also, as a reaction, you can spend a bardic inspiration to grant all allies within 30 feet who can see or hear you advantage to a saving throw against a charm or fear effect. Roll your bardic inspiration. Each ally adds the amount rolled to the saving throw. That's fucking counter charm. That's the good eats right there. Got anything for me on that? What do you think?
I mean, I've never played a bard, so and I think in the games that I've played in, it hasn't really been a bard. Most of the time I've played with a bard has been with you in a video game. So yeah, it sounds awesome. Like having this, like there was that moment in Rhyme where we almost had an end of the campaign because there was a charm effect that went through in a room.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, bard with this, that's like that moment where like the bard saved the day.
Yeah,
you know?
Harpy starts singing, bard kicks this on. Dragon, I'm impressive. Fear me, bard turns this on.
Yep.
It's situational. It burns the reaction. It burns a resource, and it doesn't guarantee success. But it's certainly cooler than, oh, maybe these bad guys will use fear and charm effects. I guess I'll spend my entire action starting to sing just in case. I don't know. Like, that's dumb. That's dumb. I don't like that. So, yeah, I think that this... I like this as a solution. Elemental surfaces. I playtest this last year for Extra Life when I ran a Larian inspired one-shot set in Original Sin 2. I think that it is very viable, but I think that it will change your game forever. It will change your game forever. If you allow elemental surfaces into your 5e game, it will never, ever be the same again. So you have to be prepared for that. You would also have to look at every single spell that deals elemental damage and consider how it would play with this system. Again, they have a limited ecosystem that they created. They only have so many spells that they had to balance this shit around. We have hundreds of spells in 5e. And then in the homebrew, you have 1 million more. So you need to be very cautious if you decide to do this. But man, I think it could make a game so fucking fun. Oh my god. Now, how would you pull it off in VTT? You could either just use marker tools to just draw right on the map, or you could have templates that you've made. If you're on Foundry VTT, watch some Bailey Wiki tutorials. Man will show you exactly how to get this shit set up. You could have a whole folder of effects. You just drag one out onto the field. It perfectly layers that tile onto the scene, and now you've got it. You could even make it a shifting tile. There's so many mods that could be utilized to make this actually work seamlessly. If you're on Roll20, you have marker tools, and that's cool too. So yeah, I mean, yeah, like there are ways to make this work. Everything that you see in this section of the document, this is taken from the wiki for the game. So water, oil, blood, electrified, steam, acid, caustic brine, which is different than acid, lava, fire, ice. I added quicksand / mire because I think quicksand is actually pretty dope, and you know it needs to be used more often. Poison, and then somebody added a dippable here. Maybe dippable came in from the yeah, I think this actually came in from the thing. Smoke powder and fire makes smoke powder detonate, blah blah blah. So like these things are already built. They already tell you what they do. Now, it's the math that you would have to figure out, because I believe part of what makes Barrelmancy so powerful in Baldur's Gate 3 is that the math is set, and it's stupid, and you could use it to get through some really hard encounters early game. Not saying that I lowered an elevator full of exploding barrels into the Druid Grove to kill all the Druids, but, you know, maybe I could have done that. I don't know. Anyways, so the problem with this system is a bomb is a bomb is a bomb is a bomb, right? So low level, this is insane if they can get their hands on some explosives. High level, it falls off a bit. When I can make a meteor swarm, having some barrels is not as cool, right? But low level, having some barrels is pretty fucking rad. You can argue that this is no different. This is no different at all than a low-level group getting a hold of a necklace of fireballs. This is no different than a low-level group getting a barrel of gunpowder, a box of dynamite, right? These things can already happen because Dungeons & Dragons is a robust virtual reality system, so any of this shit could happen anyways. I'm saying that Larian has given you the roadmap to actually make it work, to actually make it happen in your games. And in the one-shot that I ran, this was very exciting. It was very exciting to see this stuff happen. So, but I will warn you, if you do this, it will change your game forever.
Yeah, it changes your game, and there's a lot of work. It's one thing that's going to happen with this is that some stuff is going to slow down a lot because you're going to be figuring out all these reactions between all these effects. And then what's going to happen is that your players are going to start looking on how to use these effects, which is what you kind of want, right? Yeah. You want them to start, thinking with engagement with puddles.
Yeah, thinking with puddles, beautiful. Well said. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, this could be the most fun change you've ever made to your game, but it is also going to change your game forever. And I think, honestly, that if you pull this off well, people are going to play without this and be sad. Like, if you get used to having this in your tabletop game, and then you go play a tabletop game where you can't make poison pools and then make those poison pools explode, people are going to be sad. You're going to be sad. You're going to be like, I remember when I used to be able to make poison explode. That was cool. Oh, well. Yeah, so it is something to think about. And you do need to keep in mind, it goes both ways. So bad guys could be using this to their advantage, and it will require a bit more effort by the DM because you're going to want to populate your environments with this stuff so that it's a lot more interesting to have.
Yeah.
Also, what happens if I put poison into fire? Does poison explode? Yeah, it explodes. It makes poison. So poison spray, which is kind of a shit-ass cantrip, well, I just squirt poison spray into your campfire. I just made a fucking bomb. You know what I'm saying? Like, this changes everything about the game if you decide to do this. All right. New status effects. This is kind of like a part of the last thing we discussed, but also a part of a thing we haven't discussed yet.
Yeah.
So they went through and they added a bunch of status effects. We're going to quickly go through them. Acid reducing armor by 2. Brilliant. I love it. Bleeding being based on slashing damage instead of necrotic damage or untyped damage. I think that's really good. The burning status being defined. I think that's very good. Having a calmed status. I kind of like that. It also opens up the opportunity for there to be skill actions related to persuasion, perhaps, that allow you to calm a person the fuck down.
Another thing too about this, and maybe it's not in this thing, but it actually is, it's in the game, is that calm also stops people from raging. Stop barbarians from raging.
Right, yeah. Chest trauma sounds fun. Then we got chilled, crippled, dazed. We already have a dazed effect that is borrowed from 4E. Their dazed effect is very interesting. You have disadvantage on wisdom saving throws, can't take reactions, and you lose dexterity bonus to AC, which is essentially flat-footed from Pathfinder, in my opinion, or the flat-footed from earlier.
That's early. Early flat-footed.
Yeah, it's not really Pathfinder 2 flat-footed. It's Pathfinder 1, and then D&D 3 and 3.5 flat-footed. And I'm kind of into it because dexterity is so strong in 5e, and this kind of brings it down a little bit by having this dazed effect. Also, I'd much prefer monsters and players causing a daze effect than causing stun. Though stun does still exist in the game, I would be more liberal handing out daze than I would be handing out stuns. Electrocuted, it's pretty fun. Someone suggested you combine that with shocked. I could see that. There are multiple statuses for the main elements, which is kind of interesting to me. I don't know if they're necessary. That's a lot of things to track. But there are some good ideas here. The wet status, kind of into that. It prevents you from burning. It doesn't give you resistance to fire. It just prevents you from burning. Oh wait, no, hold on. It does resist fire, but you're vulnerable to lightning and cold damage. That feels like...
And it goes away as soon as you get hit by fire, it goes away too.
Yeah. So maybe, kind of cool. It would certainly make all the water spells not suck. So like, there's a lot of 5e water spells that no one uses unless they're a Triton, and they have to use it because it's a racial.
Like, I can see somebody like, oh, I'm like high level D&D. One person uses tidal wave to get everybody wet, another person chain lightning.
Chain lightning after that tidal wave, absolutely. So I like the wet status quite a bit. I think that's really cool. Weapon maneuvers. We talked about equity from marshals. Here you go. Okay, you throw these properties onto weapons, and now weapons give you just a little bit more that you can do. Is this a lot to track? I don't think so.
Not really.
How could you set this up successfully on? How could you set this up successfully in VTT? There's a mod called Magical Items or Magical Weapons. Excuse me. You can add spells to weapons and give those spells on weapons a limited use that comes back at a specific time. So you could essentially go into even the mundane weapons that people have and drag these onto them. And then, okay, so my mace can do these two things, and once I've done them, they won't come back until I finish a short rest. Works for me. That's pretty cool. So
the way I would do this, and a really simple way, is just, whatever properties are on the weapon, put it in the description, and then give the weapon a two use. And you can use any of these actions twice before you have to.
I like that. Charges.
You can use charges on the weapon. You can do two cleaves, or you can do a cleave and a brace if it has cleave and brace on it.
I like that. Yeah, I like that a lot. The weapons have charges on it. Then you could even get spicy, and you could increase the amount of charges that they have on it for certain classes. So maybe in our world patch document we have true marshals. Well, maybe true marshals get to add more charges of these maneuvers to their weapons than other people. So everybody,
maybe this easy way to do it would be if you're not a true marshal, you have one equal to your half your proficiency bonus. If you're a marshal, you have it equal to your full proficiency bonus.
Yeah, that could work. It could work, yeah. So I like the idea that anybody who with proficiency of the weapon could use it because that's fun. But I like rewarding people that don't have spells by giving them more uses of these. I think that Baldur's
Yep.
Gate could have done a bit more with this. I feel like for every level that you took that wasn't a spellcaster level, maybe you could have gotten another use of these abilities. That would have been nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feels bad to be level 4 rogue and get nothing. Like you're level 4, you get nothing.
I mean, that's normal
Yeah, but like
5e.
yeah, I know, but I thought, Larian, come on, you made all these other great changes. You still got dead levels. I mean, that sucks. That's boring.
The like, I guess for them, what they did was they made feats crazy. Some
Yeah.
of the martial feats pretty crazy.
All right, so that is the stuff that I have gotten to from this massive list of things. What is some stuff that I missed, Dom? I know that you wanted throwing people, and I know that we discussed that is technically something you could do raw. But do you feel that is not enough? Do you feel like there should be a system?
I feel like there should be some more defined, because I don't think it should be possible for somebody to throw somebody 60 feet with disadvantage.
That's fair. All right.
So
you want
but
throwing
I haven't.
rules?
I would like throwing rules, but I'm not sure. I don't know how Larian does their calculations for how far you can throw somebody, and maybe it's a little too deep because they're like doing it based off of weight and stuff like that.
And they have computers to do all the math and shit behind the scenes.
Yeah, they have computers to do all the math. Originally, I thought it was that you can throw somebody who's one size less than you. That's what I thought it was. I didn't realize it was actually weight. I always thought it because at the time when I was doing it, the only people I could ever throw were gnomes and halflings and goblins when we were doing it. But as soon as my strength got up too high, I was able to throw medium creatures at that point. So it is by weight, but maybe it's as simple as instead of it being maybe you can throw somebody as far as your strength score.
Yeah. So when I throw people, it's usually big giants, right? Giant want to pick you up. Giant want to throw you. I generally just drop the fling monster ability onto like huge or bigger monsters, and I'm like, this motherfucker gonna fling you. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But raw, you're right. If I'm strong enough to pick you up, then I'm also strong enough per raw to throw you 60 fucking feet. That's it. The end. Like, there's no middle ground. So you're asking for some middle ground between those things. You're asking for better definition of improvised thrown. You want improvised thrown to be better developed.
Yeah, I think I would do it based off of your whatever your strength score is. That's the distance you can throw somebody. And then if you have a size difference, there's a multiplier on that. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe like if they're huge and you're medium, there's a 2 size difference. It's 2 times your strength score.
Well, it's definitely something that would be very exciting to add to the game. My secondary character, because I'm starting my co-op Origins run with my kid tomorrow, and my secondary character is going to be Karlach, modeled after the legendary Akan. So like I plan to be doing a lot of fucking throwing with that character. When I heard that you could throw stuff in the new Cyberpunk revamp, I was like, well, I guess I'm playing solo again because I'm gonna be throwing everything. I'm gonna be throwing everything. So like I want this to be in the game for sure, but because I also want strength characters to feel rewarded. I want strength characters to feel rewarded. So like we've gotta figure this out, and I feel like it's a big enough thing that we're gonna have to tackle it as its own thing. These other things are pretty easy to add, but I think that the throwing rules being well defined is going to be one of the harder things to do. All right, and that's it. That's all the time we have. So if you guys are watching this VOD and you have ideas, you want to drop them into the comments. If you want to hit us up on Discord, please do. And I think that these could really enhance your game, and I think they could really throw they could just add some spice, like The 5e cheese pizza could get real spicy when you poison spray the goblin's bonfire and it explodes. I'm just saying, it gets real spicy. All right. So I hope everybody has a great weekend. Dom, hope you enjoy your evening. And all right, everybody out there, we'll see you next time.
Alrighty, take care.